For those of you who don't know me, my name's Amy, and I am the Director of Agent Services, mostly centered out of La Jolla, but I also work with our San Diego North Inland office too. And for those of you who don't know me, designs and anything related to marketing is kind of my favorite thing to talk about. So kind of fitting that today we're going to jump into designs in Command and also how to really give you all the tools that you're going to need to properly market your next listing. So with that, I think we can jump on in. What we're going to do, we're just going to jump straight into Command. And really quick before we get started, we touched on this a little bit last time, but I want to make sure that we give a little reminder. Whenever you're working with your agent website and with Command designs, super important that you do your marketing profile before getting started. It'll really just make your life a whole lot easier, and it'll kind of prevent you from having to re-download and re-enter all of your information into Command. So to do that, go back up to this drop down by your name and head on down to Settings. Once you're there, on the left-hand side, you're going to see a number of drop downs here. Go to where it says Connect Settings and click on Marketing Profile. So in here, you can see all of your different information from headshots, logos, license numbers. I'm not an agent, so I don't have one. But you want to make sure that this is filled out as completely as you possibly can. And that'll make your life a lot easier when you're working through your website and your designs. So jumping into designs, I know Jess just dropped a link about the marketing profile. So if you have any questions about that, that link is going to be super helpful. So with that, I would love to jump into landing pages for your new listing first. Really because last time we talked a lot about your agent website. So this is kind of building off of that. So what you're going to do is come down to this consumer tab, and it's going to take you to this page right here. So you can see I really don't have a ton on my agent website, again, because I am not an agent, but hopefully you guys all have built out your website already. If not, check out our YouTube channel. The video that Jess made last time all about how to build your agent website is there. So definitely something good to reference. But we're going to build out a landing page today, so I want to check out this landing pages page. So if you have one built out already, a whole list of your different landing pages will appear here. As you can see right now, I don't have any. So what we're going to do is just create a new page. So I can either click this button here, or if you already have pages done, you can click on this button here at the top. So I'm just going to click up here, and I'm going to say add a new landing page. And then go ahead and say create page. And it'll take you to this little website design builder that looks kind of similar to what we peeked at last week. So first things first, this is where your marketing profile will come into play. I always like to start all of my landing pages with one of these branded headers. What that's going to do is give you your KW logos, and it's going to drop in your beautiful face and all your contact information right from the gate. All right, and then because we want to build out a landing page for our listing, what you're going to do is click on this listing widget and drag that in right below. What's going to happen is it's going to pop up with this very generic house with information that you don't want in your landing page. Don't worry about that for right now. We will update that and pull in the information for your listing. And then I always like to drag in just a market snap right below that, just to give your clients a little extra information when they're scrolling on through. Again, very generic. KW is based out of Austin, so it fits that Austin is the one that's right here. And then at the very bottom, I like to add in our agent branding. One last thing, sorry about that. Pull in your lead form. That way, if somebody's looking at your listing, you can get all their information and it'll go directly into your account. Okay. And I'm actually going to bump this up above my market snap just because I want people looking at my contact form before I get to my market snap. So I'm just going to drag that to where this green line is right here. Okay. So the way it's going to look is it's going to go all the beautiful details about your listing. It'll go down to your contact form, a little bit more of a market snap generally, and then your agent branding on the bottom. Okay. So now I don't really want this listing, so I'm going to make sure that we update it for my listing. And when I say my listing, again, not mine, but we're going to use one of the agents in the La Jolla office. He has a beautiful new listing, so we're going to use one of his today. So what you're going to do is you're going to go down here and say configure widgets, and it's going to pull all the different widgets that you just placed into this page so that you can update the information that's on them. So it's going to give us the list of the branded header, the listing, market snap, lead form, and agent branding. So you'll notice that these are already green, meaning you could be done with them. You don't really need to add a ton more information, but we're going to make sure everything looks right before we make this public. So go ahead and click into whichever one you want to start with. I'm going to start with my header. So to start off, it's asking if you want header text. What I'm going to add is our address for the listing that we're going to use. So we're going to do 2271 Street. Make sure everything looks good. My headshot looks great. My name, yay. Personally, I like my formatting of my phone number to have those lines in it. So I'm going to add those in real quick. And then my email address has since changed since I did my marketing profile. So I'm just going to change that right now and add that in. Okay. I like the way my logo looks. So all that looks good on top. And I'm just going to say save and apply. Okay. So what that'll do is update all that information on top and add that fancy little title that I put in a minute ago. So because that looks all good, I think we can move on to our next widget. So we're going to click on this little arrow right here, and that'll take us to our listing. So because we don't have a listing selected right now, again, it still has that generic one. So what we're going to do is go ahead and click on Browse Listings. So what this does is it pulls all the information from listings within the MLS. The one thing that you need to make sure you've done before you get to this stage is make sure that you've enabled syndication on your listing from the MLS. If you haven't done that, then this won't pop up here. And then it'll make it really difficult for you to build out a landing page for your listing. So what we're going to do is we're just going to search the address again. We're going to do the 2271. And boom, there it is. So it should pop up somewhere in these first couple. If you notice, all of these kind of look exactly the same. So I'm just going to pick this first one and bada bing, bada boom. So it's going to pull all the information that you already have in the MLS directly into this design portal right here. So you'll notice my address, the price, the zip code and city, all that pulled up. And so now I get to pick whichever photo I want for the front of my landing page. So personally, I think this picture of the front of the house is really nice. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on that one and continue scrolling all down. So this gives you a little bit of information about which image they usually choose. Again, try and have the highest resolution pictures so it doesn't appear grainy. And then go ahead and say save and apply. So this will all update in just a second. There's the lovely picture that we just picked out. And then if you scroll down, you'll notice all the information that was already on the MLS gets pulled in. So square footage, bedrooms, bathrooms, the year it was built, the overview description, all of that just automatically gets pulled in. You get this cute little carousel of pictures. So your clients can click through and look at exactly what the property looks like. Gives you all the details. Lovely. And then a nice little map view that they can scroll and look at to kind of pinpoint exactly where that property is. So with that, your listing widget is all done, nice and configured, and we're just going to move on to the next one. So because I dropped in the market snap first, the market snap is going to pop up as number 3. So I'm just going to scroll down so we can look at that one. Okay. So what I want to do is enter the name of the neighborhood or the zip code as my header to kind of give that neighborhood trends banner. So what I'm going to do is just make sure that I have the right zip code before I enter it in. So we're going to do the 92103. Okay. Put it over here, 92103. Boom. And then I don't really want to specify a neighborhood. I just want to make sure that everybody who's looking at my listing gets that information about that specific zip code. But if I wanted to, I could specify Little Italy or Balboa Park just to kind of further specify which area I'm showing. And I'm just going to say 92103 as my headline. Okay. We're just going to say save and apply. And again, on this side over here, you will see just a little snapshot already built out of the 92103 zip code. You'll see number of active listings, average listing price, all that already pulled, so you don't have to do anything. Really nice. I'm not in love with how this title looks, so I'm just going to say the zip code market trends. Boom. Okay. So you can make any tweaks that you want if it's not looking the way that you like right out of the gate. But I like the way that this looks. I like that it shows off where my listing is. So I think we're good to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and click to the next widget, and there's my lead form. So I like this interested let's talk. It's something that whenever I build out a website, I like to put that on my contact form. Just kind of gets people engaged. So we're going to leave that, say save and apply one last time, and then click over to the last one. So lastly, here's my agent branding. Again, this is all pulled directly from the marketing profile. You'll notice you do need an agent license number. I don't have this right now, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add our La Jolla license number. So just going to type that in really quick, and then we can move on. Okay. Actually, I did the wrong one. Sorry, y'all. 3, 2, 4, 1. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to update my email one last time because, again, that information wasn't right in my marketing profile. And just reviewing this gives me an opportunity to make sure that everything looks right. Add in my little dashes just so the formatting is the way that I like it, the way I like to see it. And I think that looks good. So we're going to say save and apply and just give it a quick once over. So this is exactly what my landing page is going to look like once I publish it. So I think this looks nice. I think it looks good. And so what I'm going to do is just go up here and say publish page. Okay. Update an active page. Yeah. Perfect. So now if I go to my landing pages, you'll see that this is already posted right here. And if I click on this link, it'll take me to the live version of this landing page. Okay. So this is exactly what my clients are going to see. So what I always like to do when I'm doing this for agents or trying to promote a property myself, I always like to take this link and put it on a QR code if I'm passing out flyers. You can find a really easy QR code generator for free online that you can then put in your designs for people to scan. Or you could link this on your social media. You could do a lot of different things with this link. And it'll also pop up automatically on your agent website. So to see what that looks like, if you go to your main KW agent site link, this is mine. You'll see the lovely front page that we have already. And then you can click on this drop down and it'll give you a list of all the different pages. For whatever reason, my landing page ain't here. But I think that's probably because my agent website isn't linked to a license number. So make sure we have that. Okay. but this is live and it is posted, and you could share this with your clients. Any questions on that?
So I believe the landing page URLs, those are all individual. But what you guys can do as well, if you guys are concerned with even just like that direct link that it kind of gives out as well. Let's say that you were putting it on social media, you can edit the back end of that slightly. But if you really wanted to change control of that, what I would suggest, sign up for a free Bitly link account. And that's a really cool way of, again, shortening that link and kind of making it very customizable to you. So if you just wanted to have, 123 Main Street as your link, you could definitely do something like that. So bitly.com is a great solution.
Yeah. So real quick, I'm just going to cancel that because it's taking a minute. So Paul, you asked a question. If you enter a footer and you want to remove it, how do you do that? Let me just jump into our landing page real quick. And then all you need to do then is go to the widget that you don't want to be seeing. And if you hover over it, there should be this little banner up top, and you'll see this little trash can. If you click on the trash can and click on it, I'm going to get rid of this bottom contact form. Click on that trash can and it'll get rid of that part of the widget.
So, Amy, I have no trash can. That says lead. So I'm looking at another one. It says lead form on the left, and then there's nothing else over there to the right to do anything with it. But I did just hit delete and the whole footer disappeared.
That works too.
But I want that little
trash can.
There, yeah, the trash can and whatnot, because there's other things there as well, right? Like moving it or somehow editing it. So where are those? Why are they not coming up?
Not sure. Jess, do you have any idea why that would be?
Sometimes, especially if you use your computer often, a lot of the times I'll try it in an incognito window. You can be doing that by going up to the top right corner of your browser and hitting those three dots. And there should be a line item in there for an incognito. Basically, it clears all of your cached files and your cookies out of the browser. So it's a very clean version. So it gives you the most up-to-date version of any website. Sometimes I would try that. And then if that does work, you may have to clean out your cache files and your cookies out of your current browser, which can help kind of speed things up, loading things. But sometimes if there's updates to sites, those updates don't come through as usual.
I have a quick question. I was having a hard time finding the URL to my website. I saw you do it after you did your landing page, Amy, you went to your website to check to see if the link worked. Yeah, can you go over how did you find the link to your website again? I'm on right now.
So if you go to your site and app settings tab right here at the top, you should be able to find.
It's right next to the create a new page button.
Okay, let's see. Create and site and app settings.
Yep.
Yes.
And then you go to URL.
Then you can go to URLs and you can see what your subdomain is. So your subdomain is whatever is entered here, .kw.com.
Okay, got it.
The cool thing for you agents too is, especially since you're licensed, you should see your KW app link there as well. So if you ever needed to find that, that's a good place to find it.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions? All right. So with that, we're going to move into design. So we're going to do a very similar process of finding that listing, but this time we're going to use it to form email templates, flyers for when you're door knocking or promoting an open house, and also for social media graphics. So with that, let's jump on into this designs tab. So the designs tab is the one that looks like a little paintbrush, and it's the third from the bottom. All right. So you'll see in my designs, I've built out some stuff previously. If you've used designs in the past, you'll see all your previous designs pop up here. If you haven't, you won't see anything, but that's okay. So what you're going to do is just go to the top and say create design. You could import designs as well if you want to upload a PDF or a previous image. But the nice thing about Command Designs is that there are templates for a whole bunch of different marketing materials that you can just download for free and use within the Command Design portal automatically. So go ahead and click on that Create Design button, and then it'll pop up with this window. So you can do either emails, social media graphics, any print materials, and videos. For today, we're really going to focus on these first three, but the video is another option that you can use as well. So I'm just going to start with email because it's the first one here, and then go ahead and say continue. So KW has built out a bunch of templates already. You also have a choice of your design templates. So I have uploaded one in the past through using HTML code. But I would highly recommend, if this is your first time building out an email template, choose one of these from KW. They have a bunch of different options for a bunch of different events or holidays coming up, different topics. So really choose whichever one kind of suits your fancy. So I personally like this luxury open house one. So I'm going to go ahead and select that and say next. So you notice this looks really similar to what we saw when building out the website, but this time it's going to be specific for an email. And this is an email template that you can use when building out smart plans or when just sending emails through Command generally. So we're just going to start at the top. This one is personalized to whoever you're sending it to in your database. So to kind of inspect this first little widget right here, we're just going to click the pencil button. And it's going to pop up with this text box that shows exactly what it says and the formatting of it. So one thing I really want to draw attention to is this merge tag right here. So what this does, because it says contact first name, if you have a first name listed in your Command contact, Command will pull that information when you go to send that email and fill in the person's name for you so that you can send this as a mass blast to your client base. And it'll always have their name and it'll always be personalized to them as opposed to something generic that you could send out. So I like this good morning. If I wanted to change it, I could add any text and kind of just edit it from here. But I personally like the way that that looks. So I'm just going to say done. The most important thing when editing these blocks is that you hit done. If you don't hit this done button, it's not going to save. So make sure that you do that before you continue. Same thing with this text. You can click in this pencil and edit the text from here. So again, we're going to make a template for this 2270 Wand Street. So I want to personally invite you to an open house I'm hosting at. I'm just going to change this address to the one that we were talking about earlier. It's tucked away in a historic neighborhood. We're just going to say, change that to beautiful Hillcrest area. I always like to kind of maintain the text that these templates have because somebody's already taken the time to make it sound good and really flow nicely. So all you really need to do is to go in and just update the text. Yeah, Paul, I see your hands up. What can I do for you?
Yeah, sorry. I was pulling up a just sold classic form and trying to parallel along with what you were doing. And I think I missed how to pull the listing into the email. Did you do that?
We have not done that yet. We'll get there in just a second.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to delete out this Catskills and just enter the market at. You could have this. I know we just did a market update with Ray this morning, and he highly recommends that when you're doing an open house, don't mention the price. Kind of just leave that as a little carrot to get your clients and the neighbors of that open house kind of in the door. So you could add the price if you'd like, but I'm personally going to delete it just to kind of drive that interest a little bit more. This home is rare. Homes in Hillcrest are not available for purchase very often, so I wanted to make sure that you had a chance to take a look. Okay, so I think this looks good, and we're just going to say done. All right, so in this email template right now, these are all image cells. So you'll notice that if I go to this pencil button, I can just replace this right here. I personally don't have my images downloaded right now, so if I wanted to replace it, I could. But instead, I want to do a listing block, kind of like how we talked about earlier. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this block, hit my little trash can, and get rid of it. Okay. Again, you could replace all these images if you'd like, but I'd rather have the full listing instead. So what you're going to do is just grab this listing block right here and go ahead and drag it in wherever you'd like it to be in your email. So now you're going to see this blank listing block, and I want to make sure that we update it to have the listing that we were looking at earlier. So go ahead and click that pencil button, and then we're going to say select listing here up at the top. And again, very similar to the way it was before, this is going to pull all of our information from the MLS directly. And so I'm going to say 2271. Go ahead and search that. Sing the Jeopardy theme song while we wait. Have it try again because it doesn't like me. All right.
Mine is doing that too, Amy. Like as I'm trying to do it.
Alrighty. So instead, we're just gonna replace the picture. Maybe not. I'm gonna try it one more time just to say a little prayer to the command gods, because sometimes that helps. Other times, you know, just has a case of the Mondays. So we're not gonna do that right now. So in that case, I'm just gonna drag my image block right back in here. So I'm gonna add my image right on top here. You'll notice I was building out an Oktoberfest email. So any previous images that you've uploaded are gonna go right here. But instead, I'm gonna go and say add images. You could also access your listing images here. But I have a feeling this is not gonna work as well.
Did you already try searching by MLS number by chance?
I have not. Let me pull that, but I do not have the MLS number handy. So give me 1 second and I will find it. Anybody want to play the Jeopardy song for me?
Do 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 do.
All right, I got it. All righty, so one more time. We're gonna try our little listing block. You'll notice that this thing flies around quite a bit. And sometimes it's not the easiest to get it right where you want it, but if you move it kind of in that area, it should pop up the way you want it. So like Jess suggested, I'm just gonna jump into my MLS number, fingers crossed.
That command's definitely having the case of the Mondays.
Command has the case of the Mondays, so we will take a peek into why that's doing that. But the good news is, now that I have this listing all pulled up, I'm just gonna save this image right away, and we can get right on rolling with uploading that. So let's get that out of here, and I'm just gonna replace this image with an image of my own. So I'm gonna say add images, And then I'm going to pull up the file that I just got. You can see all the lovely stuff that's on my desktop. And there we go. Okay. So you'll notice the image that I just uploaded is right here. And I'm just going to say replace. Okay. So I'm not really sure how big this picture is going to be. And I know if I hit done right now, it might blow up super huge. So I'm going to go ahead and say edit. Okay. So if I wanted to crop the picture and rotate it here, I could do that. But I'm personally going to shrink it down to be more of a banner. That way it's not super tall and pushing all my text down like that. I'm going to go ahead and save it. So I'm going to add some alt text. I'm going to add in Hillcrest, home, and just to give a little bit of information about that picture for people to look at. And then I want to link the image to this landing page that I created earlier. If you want to do that, that makes, when you make your email, the picture will be clickable. So that way you can send it directly to the command landing page that you already have. So it'll give you this little drop down here. And then you could say this one right here. So the new landing page template, I forgot to rename it. So that's the one that we built. So now if anybody clicks on this image in my email, it'll direct them straight to that landing page with more information about the listing. Okay. All right, and so we have our different sizing pixels. So the way that this works, however big you want your picture is determined by these pixel sizes. Again, right now, I'm not sure how big this is going to be. I have a feeling it's going to be okay. So I'm just going to say done. And that looks pretty good. So I think we're going to stick with that. If I wanted to kind of make that image smaller, what I would do is hit this edit pencil one more time and then go back down to these pixels. So I think this picture might be a little bit too tall. So I'm going to shrink it down to 275 instead of 300. Okay, I'm going to say done. And then boom, my picture shrinks down just to the size that I wanted it. Okay, so I think that looks good. And then I'm going to move this table cell down a little bit just to write. Never mind, it doesn't like me. Okay, so instead of doing that, I'm just going to leave this picture where it is. Again, you can edit this text here to have all the information about the property. So what I'm going to do is change this square foot number and have it be what the square footage of the property is with 5 bedrooms, that's right, and 4 baths. Top grade kitchen, indoor living spaces, stunning views of Hillcrest. And of course, if that's not true of the property that you're working with, you're going to want to change all that information. Thankfully for this property, that's very similar to what was written in the MLS description. So I'm going to leave this. Okay. Its historic roots date back to, I'm going to change all this to this home was built in and add that detail right there. This one was 1934, but that's not immediately apparent. Shows that the house is up to date and it looks nice. Been retrofitted to feature cutting edge essentials like smart home connectivity, climate controlled storage, and top of the line fixturing. No stone has been left unturned. So if that's true of your listing, looks good. But of course you can edit all of this to fit what your listing looks like. So once we hit done, that text block will update itself. And then lastly, this little text block right here. One last time, you're going to hit the edit pencil. I certainly hope to see you this weekend. The open house will be held Saturday, October 31st. From this time to this time, I'm going to change this because October 31st seems really far out. So I'm going to say my open house is on October, let me check my calendar because I think the 8th is Saturday. Nope, it's Friday. October 9th from 11 to 2 p.m. because that's when my open house is going to be. Again, you can change all this text to activate to reflect what your open house is going to look like. But for the most part, that looks good. If you'd rather schedule a private tour, then give me a call at Agent Mobile Phone. So again, this is one of those merge tags that we talked about earlier. You can, if this is already entered in your marketing profile, the agent mobile phone number will pull automatically when you send this email, and it'll be reflected in that email once you send it. Or reach me via any of the contact methods listed below. Looks good. So I'm going to say done. Okay. You'll notice that this image right here is not filled in right now, and it has some of those merge tags in it. Once you preview this email, you'll see that your headshot will get pulled in automatically here as well. More of those merge tags: agent first name, last name, agent designations, team name, license number. All this information gets pulled directly from your marketing profile, so you don't need to worry about entering all of that. Lastly, we have this little button right here. If you click on that and hit the edit pencil, you'll be able to change all of this information as well. So you could say link to, I'm going to say my landing page again, but this time I want to link it to my agent website. I want people to be able to see more about me as opposed to more about my listing, especially since we gave them that opportunity to look at the listing a little bit more, and we gave them all that detail earlier. Find out more about me and what my team's doing. So I'm going to click on this. And because I'm directing it to my agent website, I'm going to go ahead and change the button text. So instead of download my app, I'm going to say, learn more. That way it gives them more information about my team, our process, all that, directly through my website. And then I'm just going to say done because I like the color. I like the way that that looks right here. So I'm just going to click done and it'll update for me. Lastly, all this information has some merge fields about my market center. Again, just pulled directly from your marketing profile. So let's take a peek at what this looks like. If you click on this little eyeball button, it'll give you a preview option, and you'll be able to see what this looks like in real time. So I think the bottom looks good. I think all this looks okay. The reason, everybody, why I have two Keller Williams La Jolla logos is because in my marketing profile, I put the La Jolla logo as my team logo. So if you have a team logo loaded, it will load your team logo and the market center logo. The reason why I have two is just because I duplicated my logos. So I need to fix that eventually. So yeah, there's everything about me. But I don't really like the look of this text. So I'm going to go back in and edit it. So go back to this pencil, and what we can do is change the line spacing here. Nope. I forget. Nope. Jess, how do I change the spacing?
I'm not sure if we can in these guys. What I would suggest, I would maybe just make it slightly bigger, maybe change it from a 16 to an 18 instead, just so it's a little bit easier to read for your clients. And then just don't forget to make sure to click that done button. That is the save button technically. So you won't see that change over until you do that.
100%. Cool. So I think with that, it looks good. So we're just going to leave it as is. If I wanted to add a little bit of extra space, I could do that as well. So I'm just going to, for me, add an extra line and call it good. Oh, there's my spacing. I don't know. Command.
So odd.
So then I'm just going to do that to all of them. Fix my spacing on all these little widgets.
So that's the tip, you guys. Put an
extra space in there,
a line
apparently.
in front of your paragraphs.
Oh no. All right. And so if I look at it now it looks really nice. Hey, wow, email. So yeah, that is the trick, I guess. Add an extra line. All right. And so now this email I think looks really nice, and I would love to send this to all of my peoples. All right, so then I'm just gonna say save and exit, and that's gonna get saved in my design. Agent license number failed. So, fun fact, if you're not licensed, you can't do much of this stuff. So that's okay. We're just gonna discard all that. It's all good. All right, any questions on email templates?
That's half the fun, right?
Cool. So then let's jump into our print materials. This one I think is really fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an open house flyer for this listing. So what it's going to do is it's going to direct you into this WeBrand site. And what this is Command's own design platform that has a bunch of Keller Williams templates for anything you might need, from flyers to coloring books to door hangers, really anything. You can kind of see the full extent of what you can build out in here. You have all these different.
I have a quick question. I'm sorry. Maybe I missed it, but when you clicked on create design for the open house flyer, did you click on social or
hit print?
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, that social button is going to be just for your Facebook banners, your Instagram graphics, all of that. Everything else is going to be under that print button. You'll notice though, if you do click on social, you'll probably get some of the same thingamajigs. Never mind. You'll get social graphics for everything. Cool. It'll just look very similar to what it is here. Okay, so for right now, what we're going to do is we're going to do an open house flyer. So if you go ahead and click on the listings drop down, you'll see all these different options. So if you're just going door knocking and you're trying to promote yourself, I would recommend this local expert one. It gives you information about the market in that area. Same with neighborhood snaps. That's a good way to market yourself when you don't have a listing. But if you do have a listing, you could do the for sale, the just sold, the open house, coming soon, all of the above. So for right now, I want to make an open house flyer. So we're going to go into this open house tab. So you notice up at the top, there are a lot of different things that you could build. You could build door hangers, you could build flyers, bifolds, trifolds, standard postcards. All that is available in here. And you can definitely explore all the different options. They all work exactly the same way. So regardless of what shape you're going with, the functionality is the same. So go ahead and click on this flyers button, and it'll give you all the options just for open house flyers within this command template. So go ahead and pick whichever one looks nice to you. I personally like this black. For those of you who know me, I love my black and white looks. I just think it looks really crisp. So I click that little use button. When you hover over it, click that pencil and it'll take you to this. So the command template is already built out. All you really need to do is add your own pictures and edit the text, and you should be good to go. The really cool thing is that listing hub that we saw earlier when we were building out our landing page. It's the same thing within command designs. So if you go down here to where it says KWLS and click on that, you can go ahead and search for any KW listing. So I'm going to type in their address for that listing we were looking at, and fingers crossed it pops up, and there it is. So there's our 2271. Go ahead and say select, and it'll pull all of the different pictures. They haven't loaded in yet, but they will in a second. And it'll load in all of the listing details. So again, that information that you put into the MLS for your listing, it all gets pulled right here just for you to have easy access. Okay. So I'm going to show you real quick how simple this is to change this flyer into something that you're already using. So I'm going to start with photos. Obviously, this is not for my listing. So what I want to do is just update all of these pictures for my own property. So let's start with this one right here. Go ahead and click on it, and then look at the different pictures that you have loaded on this side. Again, I always like to start with the front of the house. So I'm just going to say replace image right here. This little wheel button is going to take the image from the MLS and drop it right into this box that we already have built out in the template. So if I click on that right here, bada bing, bada boom, there's the picture. Is it spaced out right? No, but that's okay. We'll get there. If you double click on this box here, it should pop up with this bigger image. So this is the whole image that you're working with. What you want to do is just drag that image within these lines of the box until it's situated the way that you want it to look. So right now, the whole front of the house, except for this little pathway part over here, is in the box, and I like the way it looks. So all you need to do then is hit this done button. Oh, no, because my box is a little bit too tall. So let's drag this box down a little bit. Okay, now if I double click again, you'll see my box has been updated. So I'm just going to drag this on down so the house is fully in the box again. Say done, and then there it is, it works. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing for the second image. Again, this one looks a little tall, so I'm just going to shimmy it down so it's in line with the other one. And then click on it. Make sure that your photo's selected before you start trying to replace images. If you don't have something selected, this little wheel option isn't going to pop up. So go ahead and select your image that you want to replace. Take a look at all of your different options. I think this one with the sunrise view looks really nice, and it kind of matches the one that I had next to it. So I'm going to go ahead and say replace image, and it drops it right in. One more time, we're going to double click on this image, reposition it so I get the full effect of the chairs and the balcony together, and then go ahead and click done. And boom, there's my picture. Last one, we're going to do it one more time. Select your image. Take a look at everything that you've got going. I'm kind of sticking with this theme of the outdoors. The inside of the house is nice too, but we really want to showcase how beautiful this property is. So I'm going to go ahead and click this one. Go ahead and replace it. And then I get that awesome shot of the barbecue with the view, with the little overhang here. I think that's an awesome picture. And with that, my pictures have been updated. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take some time to edit all this text just to make sure that it's reflective of what we're doing with our open house. So to make it easier on yourself, go ahead and click in on this plus button and it'll zoom in on the flyer so you can see what you're working with up here. So first things first, I want to change that date of this open house. So what you're going to do is select the text box that you want to edit and go ahead and go to this typewriter tool right here. It looks like a weird rectangle with the black on one side and the white on the other. Go ahead and click on that and it'll pop up with whatever the text is already in that box. So again, I'm going to have my open house on October the 9th. That's my Saturday from 11 a.m. add in my space to 2 p.m. All right. And that looks good. So then all I need to do now, I'm going to add a little more spaces just to make it look a little more open. And then say save changes here on the bottom. And just like that, your text got updated. But because we're working with something that's a little bit longer, our box wasn't quite suited for that. So all you need to do is click on this little rectangle here on the side and stretch out that box until your text pops up all into that one line. If your text is a little bit too long, you might need to either shorten it or change your font size up here in order to make it fit into that space. All right. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to change all this information about the details of the property, starting with this address. So what you could do if you wanted to, you could click on this typewriter tool again and change the address manually. But what I want to do is I want to hit the easy button for myself. And what I'm going to do is select this box and then scroll up to where it says listing details. So if you click on that, it's going to give you all the different information about this property. And you'll notice there's another wheels widget, very similar to the one that we were working with the pictures. All you need to do then, go ahead and click on this, boom, and your text is updated automatically. The address changes and just gets formatted with the same font that you were working with on the template. Personally, I like to have a very proper address, so this dash isn't doing it for me. So again, just hit that typewriter and you can make any edits that you want. So I'm just going to change that dash to our San Diego, California, just to make it look real nice and crisp like that. Okay. Price over here, you'll notice we have the price just there as well. Go ahead and hit that refresh button. And again, our box is a little bit too long for that 2.299 price tag. So let's go ahead and stretch it out, make it look good. And then I want to get that US dollar out of there. I think it kind of cheapens the flyer a little bit. So we're going to hit the typewriter tool, delete that out, hit save changes, and there it is. Personally, I like to have everything line up here on the side. So I know my boxes are lined up here, but my text really isn't. So to make my life easy, I'm just going to change the justification of the text alignment. So to do that, all you're going to do is just click this button and then select the direction that you want it to go. Just like that. Boom. Everything looks all nice and lined up, nice and clean. All right. Last thing, we got this long runner of all the details of the property again. So this time we're going to go down and look for it over here. So you'll notice here, this is all one text box with our 3-bedroom, 2-bath, square footage, built-in, blah, 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 blah. And if I hit this refresh button, what it's going to do is it's just going to put in a 5. I don't want just a 5. That kind of makes my life a little harder. So I'm going to undo that. And for this one, I'm just going to manually edit. So same thing, go to that typewriter tool, and then using the information on the side, just go ahead, go in and update all the information that you got here. It's 3,208 square feet, and it was built in 1934. Okay, go ahead and save those changes. And again, it'll automatically update all that for you. Okay, so zooming back out, that top header looks good. So now I need to focus on this bottom quadrant. Okay, so clicking into this, what you can do is you can update all these little bullet points. Again, I wouldn't recommend using all these little refresh widgets just because that's going to give you the full description from the MLS. And really, you're working with a tight space. So you want to use just an abbreviated version of that. So again, you would just go to this typewriter tool and you're going to change all this. Personally, I would leave these pluses because those are what are serving as your bullet points here. So make sure you leave those alone, but just say beautiful view, ocean views. And then update each bullet as you'd like, and then go ahead and say save changes, and it'll update these bullets for you right here. Again, keeping all that formatting exactly the same way. Last one, click on this button, this little text box, typewriter tool, and then change out this text here. Again, somebody already took the time to build out all of these little text boxes, so I'm going to change them as little as possible. Amy Incrot with, I don't know what I want to name my real estate team. I'm going to call it the Jedi Force, because I was watching Star Wars this weekend. The Jedi Force real estate team. Pleased to present this distinguished home, boasts timeless details, modern conveniences, breathtaking views, thoughtful landscaping. Again, change this as you'd like, but try and keep it in that same box just so you don't kind of mess with the spacing that somebody's already built out. Try and keep that text exactly the same length if possible. Go ahead and say save changes, and then contact me to RSVP or to schedule a private tour. Looks great. Again, I have this image right here, and I want to make sure that we get my headshot instead of somebody else's. So I'm going to go up to images, and what it's going to do is it's going to take my assets that I already have. So again, if you have stuff in your marketing profile, it should pop up under where you say logos and images. Your information should already pop up. If it doesn't, that's okay. Go ahead and go to this add button and then click here to upload any pictures from your website. Cool thing, this agent who I've been stealing his listing all morning, I already have his headshot on my command. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace this image with his lovely headshot. And then we're just gonna fill in his name. So very similar again, you're just gonna use your typewriter tool, edit your text, and then add your contact details, your website, social media information, your app. Again, like Jessica mentioned, you can find that app link in that URLs tab in your consumer tab. So back where we were building out our agent website, you can find that. You also don't necessarily need this, but I highly recommend getting as many people as your KW app as you want. So I would add that in if you'd like. And then lastly, we're going to change our logo. Notice I clicked on this logo and the logos that I already had loaded popped right up. Because those are the ones in my marketing profile, I don't have the white KW that I would like to use. But I could replace this logo with the black KW. It does not pop up very nicely. So what I'd want to do is go back to my images tab, upload another image. You get to look at all my lovely stuff. I'm going to say this KW La Jolla white and gray one looks good. And then I'm just going to replace that image one last time. And it should hopefully change out that logo for me. But it's not.
So I've come to find the logos are kind of their own type of image file inside of the designs platform. So if your logos don't work for this, what I would suggest, I would go from my assets to the workspace. So if you want to go back to the logo section, there's actually going to be some standard Keller Williams logos in there for you guys. So if you go to the regular, there's luxury in there for you guys. There's a regular KW logo folder in there as well that has every single version of the Keller Williams logo as well. So if you guys are in a bind, those are good logos that will work just fine.
Perfect. So yeah, let's just replace that real quick. And of course, that one's a different size. So I'm just going to shrink it up a little bit so it fits kind of in that same space that I was working with. And then I think my flyer looks pretty good. What do you guys think? Fairly easy.
Great.
I like it. Helps when all the pictures look very nice together, cohesive. Exactly. So, any questions on flyers, on how to design them? Cool. So let's figure out how to print this bad boy. So what you can do is you can order this print right here. And if you want, you can order all of your flyers through KW. You could just pick your paper stock. You could order all that and they'll mail them to you. Or because it's a flyer and you probably want it right away, what I always like to do is hit this download button right here. And what it'll give you is all the options for just your download settings. Usually, if you're going to be printing these out, I'd recommend this PDF for printing, but you could also do JPEGs or PNG files if you want to post them online, add them into different websites or yada, 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 yada. But because we're going to be printing this bad boy, I want to hit my PDF for printing and then say download. It'll take a second, but what will happen is it'll pop up down here where your downloads go. And then you will have that flyer ready for you to print however many copies that you'd like. Okay. I know we're a little bit over, but any questions on all of that? Cool. So thanks guys for tuning in. This has been Designs in Command. It's definitely a handy tool for whenever you're preparing for your next listing and want to hit that easy button. And if you ever have any questions about the tech or if marketing in general, Jess and I are definitely people that are happy to answer questions that you have. So with that, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day and let us know if we can do anything for you.
Thank you.
Bye.